We Could Have Tea Together. Chapter 7. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork by Yuki on Pixiv. You can find a link to the previous chapters as well as Yuki's Pixiv in the description box below. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Bonus points if you thumbs up this video and leave a comment. If you don't know what to comment, put missing memories. Please enjoy We Could Have Tea Together, Chapter 7. Marinette Dupang Chang, 24 years of age. The morning ached Marinette's bones like her worries numbed her brain. She hadn't spoken to Tikki last night, and she still had to prepare a wedding as her hungover best friend groaned on the couch. They'd slept here instead of going home, and the way her back protested as she sat up and off the floor testified to the mistake, even though she had to make up time because of how long she chatted with Cat Noir. Tikki yawned, flying over with her antennae curled together. Another day, another love story, she sighed. Come on, we've got twine to tie, and questions to answer. Shh! Alia hissed from the couch. Can we visit Mom and Dad first? Tikki whispered, putting on her best pout face. She wanted a fresh-baked chocolate croissant, and Marinette couldn't blame her. Okay, little bug, let's go. Grab something for me too, Alia chimed in. Will do, Marinette called back, only to be met with another set of groans. Oops, too loud. Marinette left, wondering how she'd bring up the question of the day to her little partner. How do you sit a supernatural being who might be older than the earth itself and ask about something you did? Even with the ever-warm hug her father wrapped her in when she opened the door to her parents' bakery, Marinette felt the cold cling of anxiety that comes with unanswered questions, like condensation on plastic wrap when you find expired food in the fridge. But sometimes, the only way out is through. Tikki, Marinette began. They were sitting at her parents' dining room table, alone after her mother went back to tend the bakery downstairs. Tell me about why Cat Noir asked to wipe our memories. She did her best to hold eye contact as she spoke, but caught herself looking away a few times, and her thumbnail was acutely digging into her bicep as her crossed arms stiffened under the weight of her words. Tikki, mid-bite with chocolate on her cheek, chewed, swallowed, then cleared her throat. Hawkmoth, she said. Hawkmoth? Tikki nodded, taking another bite. When Cat Noir found out Hawkmoth's identity, he didn't want it to get out. Hawkmoth's identity? Marinette blinked a few times, trying and failing to remember it. She couldn't. How had she never thought about who Hawkmoth was? They'd apprehended him and she couldn't remember the face under the mask. Like a regular customer at a part-time job you worked at as a teenager but hadn't seen in years. A face she should know but can't remember, right down to the hair color and skin tone. Familiar, but gone. Marinette didn't know who Hawkmoth, her arch nemesis, is, or rather, was. All she could remember is Cat Noir saying he'd handle it and asking to keep the butterfly miraculous. Why had she agreed to that? If she's the guardian, shouldn't she, guard the miraculous and Kwamis? Nuru included? There was so much more to this that she missed. How? How had she missed all these fine details? So what happened? We knew each other's identities before that? Tikki swallowed another bite.
He knew yours, but only within a day or two of taking down Hawkmoth. But...
She hesitated, a debate on her face she'd clearly sorted through before. But
he knew Hawkmoth. Personally.
Oh. Understanding gripped her heart. That's why he took care of it.
And he didn't want to risk your identity in the process.
Marinette swallowed, understanding. Did I ever know his?
Yes.
Tikki studied the last bite of chocolate pastry in her hands before answering.
The power of the miraculous has consequences. To give up knowledge of identities, you had to give up something too.
So he told me who he was so I could use it as payment.
Yeah.
And you never thought to tell me. Tikki ate the last bite.
I didn't want to mess up the story you crafted for yourself.
Huh. Marinette stared at the crumbs in front of her kwami. Tikki?
Yes?
Did I know him? Something soft and sad stretched across her face.
Yes. If he knew who you were, it wouldn't be strange for Cat Noir to swing by and see Marinette as not Cat Noir.
Does he still? Tikki lowered her gaze again.
No, I haven't seen him in years.
Ah.
Sorry.
No. There wasn't anything to apologize for. Thanks for answering.
When you did it,
Tikki began.
You said it was for everyone's safety. But really, you did it for him.
Because he knew Hawkmoth personally? She looked up, and Marinette couldn't discern the look in her eyes.
Because no one was more surprised than Cat Noir to find out Hawkmoth was his father.
Marinette felt her stomach drop. Actually, no, scratch that. She didn't have a stomach. She had nothing inside her as her brain buffered. What in the Star Wars? She managed.
So, go easy on him, okay?
Marinette swallowed, taking a seat beside her kwami and propping her elbows on the table. He still knows?
Yeah.
So then what did the memory wipe even do?
Besides protect him from shame?
Tikki sighed.
You traded your memory of his identity to wipe Hawkmoth's from everyone else. And Cat traded his memory of you to wipe his dad's memory of the miraculous.
What? With how long they'd battled, that'd be a giant chunk of a man taken away from his memory.
I don't know how it turned out.
All this time, she thought catching Hawkmoth meant losing the love of her life because she went into hiding so no one would be tempted to cause a storm to get the Cat Noir and Ladybug Miraculouses together. And to make sure of it, she hadn't told Cat where to find her. But what if there was more to it? What if there was a rule she crafted, a glamour that made her queasy and anxious to be Ladybug with Cat Noir? If only the Miraculous came with a grimoire. It's not like Master Fu was especially helpful when he thrust this responsibility upon her as a preteen.
You okay?
She snuck a glance at her kwami. I want to give Cat Noir a big hug. Tikki laughed, flying up to grab another croissant.
He deserves it.
So Hawkmoth was Cat Noir's father. All that time. They were that close all that time. The opposite was true as well then. Hawkmoth was that close all that time. Crazy. And all she wanted now was to wrap Cat Noir in her arms, toasting him with so much love he wouldn't be able to leave unscathed, a scar to remember how precious he was for the rest of his life. She couldn't imagine what he must have gone through, seeing his father as a literal terrorist and villain, not to mention the one he'd spent years trying to take down as his arch nemesis. Even if he wasn't a good father, it'd be hard, but if Cat loved him? Oh, her head spun. Identities aside, had Cat seen her go through this and wanted to spare her from it? And Cat has 3 foster boys now, so what happened to Hawkmoth? Did Cat get some kind of revenge? Abandon him? Or was he part of his life, completely unaware of his past as France's most wanted? Oh, this embalming ache, preserved in her bones. She'd felt this before, but had no memory of it. Marinette needed a cup of tea. It wouldn't fix anything, but at least she could warm her insides. A cup of tea, then twine some decorations. She wasn't sure if she'd take the day to process, doing mindless tasks as she let her brain fire neurons, or if she'd feed herself an audiobook instead. Pros and cons to both, but she'd have to grind through this information eventually. For now, Marinette would put the kettle on, letting the water boil as she composed her thoughts. It was an excellent day for a cup of tea. Thank you so much for listening. Chapter 8 is on the way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more fanfiction, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye! If you're still listening, comment cup of tea.